Hi everyone, it's Chris again, and I'd like to take you on a comprehensive walkthrough on this web tool and app called ThingLink. It is an amazing web tool that is really going to give you so many versatile options and ways to deliver resources to your students and in ways to get those resources or responses back from your students as well. We're going to focus on the teacher side right now, and we're also going to focus on images only because there are multiple options. So at the end of it, we kind of want to try to recreate most of this, and I'm going to walk you through how I did that so that hopefully you can go and take that and turn it around for your teachers or your students, your campus, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here to ThingLink and get back to the home page. So I only have one because I kind of just decided to remove all the other ones I had. I do have some collections in my class periods, but I don't have access to that right now because I do have the free version at this moment. But I used to use this more for PBL when we had project-based learning going on a couple years ago, and our students were needing to submit a comprehensive overview or like a final project, obviously, of what their entire year-long project was. So that was where they compiled all of their resources and information and turned that in. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Obviously, go to thinglink.com, create your account. That's all kind of self-explanatory, and then just get started. Click create. So the first thing it's going to give you once you click create are these different options. So again, I said we're going to focus on images only today. There will be another video with video, other ones with 360 videos and VR images and stuff like that later. Right now, we're only going to focus on images. Once we click on upload image, it'll take us to our desktop or to where all your files are. It's going to connect to your computer, and you just go and find the picture that you want to use, the image that you want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one that I created, and I'll show you how I created that in a moment. And click open and give it a moment to load. Now that the image has loaded, we can start adding all of those resources that we want. So what you may have wanted to do prior to this is have all your tabs ready to go or all of your resources ready to go to upload onto your image. So the idea with this is when you click on add tag, you have all of these options to choose from to add as resources to your ThingLink. So to start off with, up at the top, we have add text and media. If we want to use this one, we would add a title. You have an option for description. You can add a URL if you want to, and you can add an image or a video. So for example, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and get out. Let's add a video on how to set up Google Classroom. So the first thing I would want to do is go and find the video for the Google Classroom setup. And it can be a video that you have, or it can be a video that somebody else has made. That doesn't really matter because it's your resource that you're creating. All you're doing is going through the whole process of adding all these resources together, getting them all compiled to make it easier for whoever wants them or whoever's going to use them to access them. So after we copy paste the URL, I'm going to go ahead and give that button an actual title. So Google Classroom, we'll call it tutorial. And one of the things I'll do is I'll come over to the actual title of the video. If it's, especially if it's somebody else's video, I'll keep it exactly the same. And I'll add a description if I want to. I don't have to. The way that we add an image is it gets everything from your computer, right? So you're going to want to have them downloaded. If you have them on your drive or something like that, just download them real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my icons, and I'm going to add the icon for Google Classroom. And if I wanted to, right here, this is what's really cool. So I have an option to upload an audio. So I'm going to give you all an example. Click on this link to access a Google Classroom setup tutorial so that it can walk you through the steps on setting up your own Google Classroom for our distance learning journey. If I come up here to the very top where it says change icon, I have all of these options to choose from. Now you might think, okay, those are all just black and white. Where's the color? You know, let's make this a little nicer. All you have to do, and since these are tutorials, I'm going to go ahead and choose this little play button icon. I have these different colors to choose from, and I'm going to go with the red play button icon. And if at any point you're like, well, not really a big fan of the audio, you can always remove it and then add it again if you need to. If you need to redo something because you may have made a little mistake or anything like that, which happens a lot, then you can always go and remove it here. At any point, if you just don't want this tag in there at all, at the bottom here, click delete tag. So now that we're done, I'm going to click done. And there's my little tag. So you have some options here under settings where you can change the color scheme to something if you want to. We're not going to mess with that, but you do have that option. You have tag animation. So when this toggle is on, notice how now I have some little animation going on with my tag right here. It's kind of like, you know, like an echo. It's showing you, showcasing where that one is. The hide logo, if we look down here at the bottom right corner where it says ThingLink, you can turn that on and it'll just kind of hide that in the corner. When you give somebody this link and you want it to immediately have audio attached to it, so as soon as they click on the link and it takes them to this ThingLink, it's going to have audio. You can add that right here. We'll do that at the end once we've compiled all of the resources. So now we have our very first tag added on there. Well, what if I have a website and all I want to do is add the link to that website? Not a problem. What if I have a Google Drive resource that I want to add there? Again, not a problem. So let me show you what I mean. Let's go with the Google Drive resource that we want to add first. Once you're in your Drive and you have the file that or folder that you want to share with everybody, all you need to do is right click and go to Get Shareable Link. Now make sure that anyone with the link can view is on if you're going to be sharing this ThingLink with people that are outside of your district domain, or that you just don't want to make them log into their Google account. To do that, you can go to Share Settings, Advanced. Over here, anyone who has the link can view. Click Change and change that right there. It might say only in your district, or only anybody in your district with the link, or maybe it's off completely. Change it to anyone with the link, or you can make it public. That's completely up to you. Save that. Now from up here at the top, you can either copy the link or you can click Done, right click again, Get Shareable Link, and click it here if your setting was already ready to go. Copy it. We'll go back into ThingLink. We're going to click Add the tag. And we're going to add content from a website. I'm going to paste the URL there. And it's a resource, so I want to change the icon to a little book. We'll make it red because that's the theme I'm going with. And it pops up right here in the center. I'm going to drag it right next to the image of the resource that I have already set up on the picture, because I was planning out exactly what I wanted to put where. That's how we add the link to a Google Drive file, plus that's how you add any basic web URL. So we kind of did two things in one there. The last tag that we need to look at real quick is a very simple one, but it is great to check for understanding and to have the students label things, or for the teachers to make, just kind of focus on a main point for whatever image they're trying to showcase. So if we click Add Text Label, it's really simple. Just add your text. You can change the icon just like we have been, and click Done. And now your icon's there. If I wanted to add this one off to the side where the title is, once it's hovered over, it says Amazing Digital Resources, which is the text that I wrote, or if it's clicked on in the actual thing, it's just going to open up saying Amazing Digital Resources as well. Now that we've looked through all the different types of tags, again, Create Tour is going to come later in a separate one. That's the basic stuff that you need. We've talked about recordings and we've talked about the different settings. Now we're going to click Done. and it's automatically saved for you. So whatever picture you upload, whatever file name it has, it's going to automatically name it that. To change that, we go to settings. And title it there. This is also where you can change the privacy settings. Right now, it's only for anybody a part of your organization who can access it. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and keep it as unlisted so that anyone with the link can access it. There's no sign-in required, but it's not public to be searched for either. That's the one that I like. If you only want it available for you, like when you're first starting to create things, I would recommend private until you're ready to send it out to people. Then you can choose either unlisted or public. And then click save. And now it has fixed the name of your resource or your ThingLink that you're trying to create. Let's say you realized you forgot to add a resource in there, you want to go back and change something, just go ahead and come click right here on this little pencil tool, click edit, takes you right back into being able to edit it. If we come over here to more actions, you have an option to clone it. You can post it to a collection. So your collections are kind of like your classes if you were to pay for that feature. You can check statistics on it, mainly just like views and stuff like that. This is very important, especially if you are creating your own backgrounds. So if you want to replace the background, this is where you would come in to actually do that, because I'm going to show you right now how I created this background. Now, I am using a Mac, but I'm going to give you the other options as well. And this is also where you can delete it if you need to. When you're ready to share, obviously click on the share button. And you have, if you have your own website you want to embed this in, you can, because it is an interactive image. If you just want to share the actual link to your ThingLink, you can publish it to social media. Share the ThingLink, publish it to social media. If you want to download it so it's usable offline, again, that is, you do need to upgrade to a different account. Or if you want to donate the lesson to anybody, you can, because the idea behind all of these ThingLinks are to create a massive resource so the kids can go and click on all these different things and have a multitude of resources to learn from, gain that knowledge. One other tip that I would like to share with you all, I'm going to go back into edit real quick. I have seen this done before. I've never done it myself, but I have seen it done on other ThingLinks before, and my students actually did this too. They created a how-to guide and had steps. So when you come into where the icons are, there are numbers down here. You can really only go up to 10, but you can always choose a number, add your title, put your resources, click done, and now you can place, okay, if I wanted you all to take a look at ThingLink first, then you would come here to number 1. If Jamboard's next, number 2, and so on and so forth. For this one, I have so many different resources available on here. There's so many more than 10 that I didn't want to, because I'm including each of these little icons individually. There were so many of them that I didn't want to do that. But it's just a tip. It's something you can do if you want to. That's it for the web version of ThingLink and how you can incorporate this and use this in your classroom or with your students or for your teachers. So it's so versatile, so easy to use, such an amazing resource, one of my favorite ones. The next part of this video, this tutorial, is going to be on what it looks like on an iPad, whether it's teacher or student or anybody else creating it. I'm going to show you what it looks like on an iPad, but we're going to be using a different image in a little bit. Before we get into that, I'd like to show you how I created this background. This is how I created the background for the ThingLink image that was needed. I decided to compile all the resources that I wanted to share, that I wanted to showcase for my teachers, for the district that I work with, and I wanted to be able to put it all in one area and have that image interactive. And that's what ThingLink lets you do. So first, of course, I brainstormed and I came up with some ideas about what I'd like to share with everybody. And then I started to gather images, icons from online, genies that I wanted to incorporate just to kind of, jazz it up a little bit. But where I found the resources or the little images for the clipboard, these Post-it notes, the actual background, even this little crumpled paper, even these teeny tiny little push pins, and of course the computer, like every little image except for, of course, the icons, I found on this website called Pixabay. There's so many other ones out there, but when you use this one, it gives you free images. So nothing that needs to be copyrighted or anything like that, or sorry, nothing that is copyrighted already that you have to ask permission to use. So you just type in what you're looking for and pick what you want. And all you have to do, it's super simple. You don't need an account to download this stuff, but I do recommend making one because it makes it go so much faster. So you would just click on the item that you want and click free download, and it'll automatically download to your computer wherever you have it saved, or to your actual downloads on your laptop, whatever device you're using. That's all I did. And then I just started to layer. So it can be done on PowerPoint, it can be done on Google Slides. There's just different ways of actually adding images into them and different ways of layering, but it's all the same thing. All of these little texts, I just inserted text, changed the fonts. I got a lot of free fonts off of Teachers Pay Teachers, and that's how I created my own. And it's just a basic template from Keynote. You can do the same thing with PowerPoint. You can make it any size you want by just actually changing, customizing the size if you want to. And that's it. Super simple. Now we're in the part of the tutorial where we're going to just take a quick look at what ThingLink looks like on the iPad app. So it has all the same features and everything, but it does look a little different, which is why I wanted to show it to you. But I want you to take a look at the figurative language example that I have there. That example is more for the student portion of it. I want you to think about all the options that ThingLink has and its amazing resources that you can compile in there. And think about how we can use that for students. How can students use this? Because it's extremely important, especially for our EL students. Let me go ahead and show you. We're going to get started, and you can take a look at what it looks like first, and then we'll talk about some ideas. So I'm going to click on the plus button at the top right-hand corner. I'm going to click Photo Library, and I'm going to choose a photo. So this photo, if you were to share this with students, you can have them scan a QR code, and it'll automatically download it for you to their iPad. You can have them, or you can just simply airdrop it. You can email it to them. You can add it to a shared drive, and they can download it. There's so many ways that you can get this picture to your students. There's not, it's not just, oh, they have to create everything. But that's another amazing option. The students can create their own image or get their own image from online. One of the main reasons why I prefer to give them a very basic template like this is because if they start researching things online and it's something that I want them to discover kind of on their own using whatever resources I've given them, then they tend to just copy paste stuff. And I don't want that. I want them to explore, but with the designated resources that I've given them, whether it be notes or whether it be a ThingLink with specific resources compiled on it already. Now that we have the image there, all you have to do to get started is tap anywhere to add a tag, and it gives you all of these options. So again, we can add text or link just like we could on the web tool. Choose from gallery, so that's going to take you to all your photos. You could take a photo or record a video or record audio. That's key right there. So for teachers, it's great. We can record the audio, and that's going to accommodate our EL students who may need to hear what is written out, and that's going to help them associate with those words a little more, along with pictures, of course. But in this case, we can allow or give the students the opportunity to record their own voice. So think of it this way. You post a simple task card up on the board, and you tell your students, okay, I have this list of expectations for every single word on your ThingLink. These are all of your terms, your vocabulary words. So for simile, I'm expecting to see the definition in there. I'm expecting to see it used correctly in a complete sentence. And I'm expecting to see either a photo or a video that you created or took of you and your partners that you're collaborating with, showing me a simile. Or maybe you all built it out of something in the classroom or with Play-Doh, or it's actually them in there. So think about all the options that are here and what you can have them do for every single one of these vocabulary words. And they're taking ownership of this because they are putting themselves in it. And they're getting to collaborate with their peers. So they're already having to interact with each other, which is allowing them to speak and to listen to each other. We're making sure that they're having those structured conversations and giving them more of those accommodations that they need as English learners. And then finally, we're giving them the opportunity to record audio and listen to what they sound like so that the day of the listening and speaking portion of the ThingBus test, they're not, feeling very shy and scared. They've already practiced this. But I'm also giving them the opportunity to write. Yes, they're going to be putting the definition in here, but we're asking them to write a complete sentence and use the word in the sentence correctly. So that's going to give us writing. They had to read to get the definition, maybe from a story or whatever. They were speaking because they were recording what they wrote, and they were having to listen to what they said and their partners because they were interacting to get those images in there as well. So that's just a really quick walkthrough on what it looks like on the iPad, plus some ideas on how you can use this with your students, more specifically with those EL students. In the description below, I will be adding a link to a video created by a colleague of mine where she goes into in depth on this amazing ThingLink app specifically and how it can be used with such intention for those EL students specifically, how we're making sure that they are going to be reading, writing, listening, and speaking using this app all in one lesson. It's an amazing tutorial, so check it out when you get a chance to. When you're done editing the image, we click Next at the top right. Don't freak out that it kind of zoomed in, it's okay. Add your title, click Save. And now at this point, you can see that little arrow, it's starting to load. It gives you a little check mark and then it goes away. That just means it's been saved. And whenever you're ready, you can click on it. And now you have these options. You can go back into Edit, that's up at the top right-hand side, or down at the bottom right-hand side, you have some different options. If we wanted to add this as a teacher to a class, we could click on that little icon with the plus and little squares. And if you have your classes set up, you can add it or share it with your students that way. You can click on the little box in the arrow, that share icon, and you can send it to somebody. You can airdrop it to them, copy the link, open it up in Safari, just so that you can get the link a little faster. You can save it to your files. There's a lot of options with this. And of course, you can trash it if something messed up on it. You just need to delete it. And that's it for the ThingLink iPad app. Another great tool that ThingLink offers, after this is already shared with students or with other teachers, of course, once this is already shared with them, let's say that there's a paragraph of information that the students are struggling with reading and they just need it read to them. You can either, one, record yourself reading it, as I showed before, or it actually has an embedded feature within ThingLink. Whether it's on the Chrome app or whether it's on Safari, it works either way. So if you can see right below the little X symbol, there's an immersive reader symbol. And if we click on it, it'll take us into this page where the students have options to change the text size, the font, the themes, the background shading and coloring. They can highlight the nouns, verbs, adjectives, and so on and so forth. And they can even change the thickness of the line, translate to another language if we needed to. That would be more useful for our NCRI kids for sure. And they can also, at the bottom, they can choose voice speed, and whether it's female or male if they want to. So when they're ready, all they need to do is click play.
Educators who service them.
And that's it. Then they can click the arrow to go back, and they can start messing with and getting information from the rest of it. So think about it this way. If you have a resource that you want to share with them, but you want them to read that paragraph that you're giving them, and those EL students might need a little extra help because that is a part of their accommodations to have things read aloud to them, to certain ones, then they have that immersive reader option and they have all the controls. Or you can add your own audio like I showed you before. That's it for the tutorial. One last tip I wanted to share with y'all was, of course, when you come in here and you get your link, don't forget that you can share this on your Seesaw, app with your students, or you can share it on Google Classroom. Just go into Classwork, Create. You can add it as a material, so if it's just a resource for them to use, or you can add it as a link in their assignment so that they can access it while they're completing their assignment as well. Or if you want a QR code, there's great apps like QR Monkey and other amazing QR code creators that can help you display this wherever it is that you want to. That's the end of our tutorial. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.